Hi all, welcome to part 4. We'll be seeing how to run the flows we have created with with big data sets. So the data could be in JSON line format, so they are just lines of JSONs. In our case, if you remember in the part 3, the evaluation flow contained a question and an answer and the ground truth. And you actually compare um, you know uh, the answer with the context, um, and you generate a score between 1 and 10, right? um, and now let's say if we run this particular JSON lines against our flow, we can test it at a much larger scale, right? So you don't need to use your local computer for this. You can use Azure Compute that is available, right? So whatever you can do here, you can do it in Azure ML. You can associate the runtime as Azure ML Compute. Um, I'll point you to that documentation. So you can run these JSON lines against it, and we call it batch testing. So if you go to in prompt flow, let's say you have something called you have something called if you go to the flows, for example, ours is the evaluation flow, uh, and within that ours is that. So as you can see here, let me get some real estate here. As you can see here, there is something called a batch run, right? So this batch run you can run from a local data file, uh, or local JSON lines folder to use as an input, right? So I chose this local data thing, performed a run against multiple lines of JSONs, and it sure enough, I'm not going to run it now, but these are some of the runs, and you can see actually the metrics, um, and any other information, right? For example, for this particular set of datas, the groundedness score, remember, is 5.5. So anything over 5, right, is above average in this case. So you can actually do things like this, and also you see you can actually perform testing against multiple variants. So variants, when combined with the evaluation, um, is a great technique, right? So that's what I guess I'm trying to demonstrate. And you can visualize all your runs, and you can visualize the logs of each runs, etc., right? So this is how you perform something called batch run. So you will learn it as you go through this, right? So I'm slowly taking you through the enterprise best practices. And lastly, we did not see thus far how to actually, yeah, now let's conclude this part by seeing how to productionalize our code. So let's go to the flow that we have started with in part 2, the end-to-end example. um, Here we have actually something called a build on the visual editor. So if you click the build, you can either build this as a Docker, or you can build this as a local app, right? So first let me test that as a local app. And let me start the local app. Yeah, the application opens like this on your local host 8080, and then you can ask the same questions, right? So what is the role of logics in treatment of... So it'll respond, and that's how like you can actually with a click of button deploy it as an app and see it running as a local application in a nice UI format. With that said, now let's see how to actually generate a Docker container out of this. And once you have the Docker container, you can pass the secrets as environment variables to the Docker container so that you don't need to hard code anything. And all you need to do is just pass on the Docker image to your app dev team or like the platform team for him to productionalize, let's say, on a Kubernetes cluster. So let's now see how to do it in... Yeah, so in order to actually do the exact same thing with the Docker, then what you have to do is go again to the build, say build as Docker, right? And choose the place, the folder where all the artifacts that are needed for the Docker uh, container or Docker image creation needs to be downloaded. So it automatically does all of that. You don't need to do a thing, and it generates a Docker file. Okay. So once it generates a Docker file, yeah, one important thing is you need to make sure requirements.txt has the required libraries. So you don't need the default ones that already like the default runtime has. But let's say you have downloaded something special, right? For example, a library that is needed to connect to a vector database, for example, PromptFlow vector DB. I'm not sure, or probably a LangChain library that you want to use in your Python code as LangChain call. Like you should have all those, because this is the file that will be used to create the environment. And once you have the Docker file ready, all you need to do is build image or build image in Azure, right? You can build image locally, and you can actually push your image into Azure Container Registry. And once you have the image, local image, right? So for example, um, oh, please make sure you open Visual Studio Code from your if you're using Windows. If you're using Mac, that's fine, but if you're using Windows, I think usually this is how I do it. I just go and say code from here, and it will open the Visual Studio Code for me. And then i will open let's say the prompt flows. So from here, if I say, oh, sorry, Docker, let's say, oh, make sure the um, Docker is Docker app is up. Um, so once the Docker is up, then you can see the images that you have built um, locally here. Let's see. It is starting the Docker engine. It takes a second for the Docker engine to be up and running. Um, and then you can see the Docker image, and you can run the container with the environment variables. So as it is starting, Yes. Say, okay. So I created this container. Yeah, a container with an image. So I'm sorry, Docker images. So I have created a image yesterday called PF with vector DB, right? So that image is also running as a container. Okay. And you run this container with the environment variables, namely the OpenAI key and the vector databases key. And you pretty much, like it'll be, uh, so do port forwarding to 8080 from your local machine. You can do the exact same thing that I have tested previously with the app. And that's all. So once you have Docker image, sky is the limit, and you can go and do anything. So to conclude, we have seen is we have seen the various steps. We have seen a typical architecture um, for a chat interaction. We saw the prompt flow basics. We saw an end-to-end example. We saw the best practices of um, how to implement your own logic for building context to the prompts. We tested various variants of the prompts. We tested their effectiveness, and also we used something called evaluation. We have seen sample metrics to evaluate a score based on ground truth versus um, the LLM output, um, and we have seen in action how to evaluate the outputs from the LLMs. We also seen how to build and how to deploy um, our flows into an app and probably distribute that as a Docker image. Once the Docker image is ready, you can deploy it anywhere on Kubernetes, Azure App Service, etc. I'll post all the links. I'll post all the code below the playlist. Please go to the playlist video by video. Otherwise, it's very far spending this time with me learning about prompt flows in action. I know it's too much material, but hopefully this reduces your time to learn this tool. And please subscribe, share, and comment underneath the video. Um, and I would be happy to get you the content that you might like, or probably tailor it in a different way. As usual, stay healthy, be happy. Talk to you all very soon. Goodbye.